know, they say, oh, I know Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm an observer. And as soon as something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax. Check out my book, For Raised to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father. I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone. And you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Appreciate the patience there. We're going to take it easy, let the people roll in if they find us. Doesn't matter, we're here. Not sure what happened there. Glitchy Mitch with YouTube and Caster and the cloud world. I may have added to the issues. So a little bit of glitchy Mitch there, but we're going, we're here. You're rolling into the chat. I'm seeing all of you. Should I ban stream elements? Leave the robot alone. Okay? The robot is doing its robot duties in the background. Don't pay attention. Okay, maybe that was a job that could have been done by a person. But anyways, look. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm the American Anchor, baby. I got a bit of a show for you today. And I'm seeing all my viewers. We're welcoming all of you. Rumble.com/American Anchor, baby. I appreciate it. Tuning in. Amazing. We got punchy.tv/Anchor, baby. And of course, all my people here on YouTube. I do appreciate it. All righty. Where were we? Thank you. I see you, Internet Master. How you doing, Jim? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where were we? Look, before we jump in, please, a little decorum. Do you care about anything? Have you just given yourself unto sloth, just a pure slob? You know, you don't even say hello anymore. What? You don't even say hi no more? Say hello. Leave a little comment. I see you in the chat. I mean, say hello. Comment, subscribe, leave a little like. Don't be rude. Show some decorum. Okay? It's like either you're out there dying in the streets against ICE or you're clicking the like button. It's up to you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Decorum. Yes, twice. The audacity of edecorum. Thormo, that's not English. I don't think. Terrible. Where's your decorum? Okay. One more thing. Look, if you got something on your mind, something you want to speak on, something that you want to call in about, something you want to say, that's 888-775-3773. Tell me what's on your mind, a question you got or a topic you want to bring up. How you doing, Francisco? Look, you're rolling in. You're coming in here. Dunno, look. Glitch, some kind of glitch. I'm clicking live, and I'm getting 3 streams, 2 streams, 3 streams. I'm like, I only need 1 stream, YouTube. I only need 1. So, thank you. Appreciate that, Dormo. Thank you. Jesse, thank you. I'm a little slow here. We'll get into it. Let people come on in here. I got a few things I want to get into. Okay. In fact, we'll jump in here in a sec. 888-775-3773. Where were we? You know what? We'll open up with this. You know, I'm getting it's a conspiracy against the Anchor baby. YouTube is glitching it up. Doesn't want the message out there. Whoa, we're getting conspiratorial. You can't get conspiratorial. You got to watch that stuff. Was I getting conspiratorial alongside the president there concerning Ilhan Omar? You remember this. You saw this attack. The attack on her. I don't condone this. No political violence. It should not happen. Okay? But you're familiar with this already, right? We saw this together. We watched it. And I was standing on it a little like, okay, I just don't quite believe it. There's something more. Trump was like, she probably had herself sprayed. She was all tough, right? She went up against the guy looking like she was going to punch him. I don't know what she was thinking she was going to do. Where is it? Let's get the slow-mo, right? He gets up. He sprays from the syringe. There's like a syringe in his hands. They're saying, it smells. It's weird. What's going on? Oh, my gosh. She goes up. She's going to punch him here or something. I'm a tough girl. Strange behavior, I was saying, all around, you know, not wanting to get checked out. What did he spray on you? That's the number one thing you'd want to know. What's going on? So I had my suspicions. Was it conspiratorial? I don't want to support such things as much as I like y'all, as much and as smart as you guys can be sometimes, and right. You know, there's also a lot of bad thinking in that conspiracy kind of minded world where it's like your standard of evidence, your standard of believing something is very bad. Like, well, if someone is capable of this thing, well then they must be capable of something else. That kind of thinking, like, that's mere speculation, right? So when I was thinking about this, well, let me do this. It's kind of fun, but we'll move on. Get to talk about like thinking and conspiracy, and kind of give you my rationale here, why I'm kind of standing on it. Because put it like this. Take the guy. This is the guy that did it, right? This individual who sprayed this, what is now reported as, from CBS, New York Post, that it's apple cider vinegar. Okay? This guy had a syringe full of apple cider vinegar, a harmless substance. And that's why it kind of smelled. That's why people were saying, right? It's vinegar. It's got some smell. And this guy is now getting charged by, like, federally charged. DOJ charges are coming down on this guy. Anthony Kazmierzak, a 55-year-old. Way too old, man. You're being silly. And he's looking at possible multiple years here for what I think amounts to like an assault charge, but coming down from the feds and all that. So think about it like this, like, what's the value judge or like the risk value assessment here if you're this individual, right? Because what does it look like? It looks exactly like a chemical acid attack. It looks exactly like it, in fact. Like, there's been a number of these attacks over the years. Terrible things. They disfigure people. It's not something I support at all. But that is a common thing. I mean, to New Delhi, female doctor. I mean, whatever. You can look it up. But they got syringes. That's what it looks like. It looks like someone going up with a syringe. Like, that's always what it looks like. This looked exactly the same, but it was totally harmless. If you're that individual and why are you getting up like that with a syringe, right, to spray this thing? It's like, well, it carries all the markings. It totally looks like someone who wants to harm Ilhan Omar, right? It totally looks like it, but the implement itself was totally harmless. So it leaves you asking the question, what's the point of the jail time? What was the point there? I don't want violence. I totally disavow this, but just consider the motives of someone who'd want to do that. You know, they're fine with the consequences. You understand? I'm here to harm her. I'm here to make a message, take me to jail, execute me, whatever. They're fine with the consequences. What was the conclusion here? This person just got jail time and didn't harm Ilhan. You understand? So it had all the markings of someone who wanted to harm her, but the payoff, so to speak, was harmless. So, you know, it just like it begs the question. Well, so then your only motive here was what, jail time? It doesn't quite make sense to me, right? And to me, there's a total motive. There's a total motive. They want their own Charlie Kirk, so to speak. And what I mean by that is they want the similar sympathy over political violence. You're getting that from these liberals, leftists. I mean, this guy, Mehdi Hassan. Find me a single elected Democrat in Congress who said, I blame Charlie Kirk for what happened. Because, like, the response here coming from, right, Trump was like, I don't know, she probably sprayed herself. Apparently, Representative Randy Fine, I blame Ilhan Omar for what happened. I didn't even watch this clip. On just that, on just this text alone, you know, you don't blame you. If what you were saying there, Representative Randy Fine, is that she is fine with anger and pushes it and agitates, that's one thing, right? But the actions of a insane individual are the actions of that insane individual. But there is a motive, so to speak, which is, where's the sympathy on our side? Hey, the political violence, and look, it's like crazy. Look, you guys got crazy. Look, come on, they're spraying Ilhan. I told you, white domestic terrorists. Hey, and you guys we didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk. Where's our sympathy? Where's it, right? It's political. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, right? On like motive and like the material conditions here, so to speak. And so that's kind of why I stand on it, right? Like you're there to do an attack, but you didn't do the harming, like, so then you only got the jail time. I'm glad for that. I'm glad that she's not harmed. And even if it was fake, that you can't do that. Charge him with whatever assault. You can't spray people with stuff, like, it's wrong. I would believe it more if, let's say, he went up and sprayed like holy water, right? Another harmless substance, so to speak, unless you're evil, right? Of the evil. No. But imagine if he sprayed like just like holy water, was like, hey, it's like a religious thing, like, hey, you Muslim, get out. But it's like it's a syringe chemical attack, but no chemical. Like, anyways, that's just kind of like my own like thinking here, but it is kind of interesting to talk about like conspiratorial minds and all that. I mean, you guys see Punchy TV? That was fun. Okay. Call it enthralling. Call it thrilling at the least. Come on. You not entertained? The rest we could build on. You love it. Thanks for tuning in to Punchy TV. Kind of think about I don't know if you guys see it. This like gradient in the panel going from like Bill to James to me, and then like Derek and Kurt, right? Younger guys. What I'm getting at is I'm remembering some of the topics, right? They were talking about Trump, talking about like immigration. Is he really about it? Like, what's going on? Is he flipping on Minnesota? Like, come on, bro. Like, was it a lie? Was it a lie? Did you not mean it? The more mature, level-headed guys, James, Bill, they're like, I mean, look, here's the realistic material conditions. I mean, the Democrats, they're just committed to destroying America. They're like dying in the streets. They want to, at least. Not that they did it to themselves, but I'm speaking on like their willingness. And Trump's just got to deal with all these things. Wait and see. But the first term, it's like this. The midterms, this case, has not happened. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe the maturity will, or what I'm talking about, will be proven wrong. All right, but the point, that's the sober position. And standing on Trump as like the record of who he is, right? Like, he cares about America, and he cares about the right thing. I do believe it. Can he do it? Blah blah blah. Things that we could talk about. But I mean, that's why I support him. So so I'm thinking about Punchy and the gradient of mature. This is kind of why I hold my tongue sometimes, because I share a little. Calm down, Zoomers. But I share a little of maybe like just like reactions of like, whoa, Minneapolis, as this weakness was going on. I just kind of shared those basic reactions, just a little. And that's why, but I know that about myself. And so I hold my tongue a bit. I hear it. And maturity prevails in the room, huh? No? Some of you don't agree. Some of you guys are like, nah, F Trump. Carver's like, you voted for the leader. Now follow him. No, I liked it. Anyways, Punchy was fun. Thinking about all the mentalities there and holding my tongue. I know that I have that a little bit. But look, it's funny about thinking and believing and what you got to be careful with. As you just heard, I broke down my rationale with Ilhan Omar. I don't consider it like conspiratorial. Yet, I still don't know. And this I know. I don't really know. But that doesn't mean we need to feel bad. And don't investigate her. You understand? The you can see it now, right? The sympathy of political violence, and now look the other way. Ilhan Omar is at the center of a lot of interesting things and probes. I hope to inform you here in a moment. It's like you got to know these things. You got to know what's happening in your country. It's not a conspiracy. in a lot of these cases anymore. It's not, oh, and I'm going to give you some news on that. It's just it's just the mere news now. It's like, man, it's like, I'm pretty middle of the road guy. I think they should be deported and we need law and order. But these guys on the internet, it's like, they're just so quick. They're like, Democrats are organizing protesters. That is just the basic news at this point. We'll get into that. It's not a conspiracy. It's just the news. It's crazy. So she needs to be investigated. All these people, we'll get into all that. But also conspiratardation. What a mess. Just because it's merely possible in your mind doesn't make it true. Anyways. So where were we? Conspiracy rationale. What are y'all saying? I'm standing on that. It looks like a chemical, like throw holy water. I would believe that. Like, hey, Muslim, get out of here. Thanks, Hake Report. Appreciate the super chat. Says Ilhan. He has like a. I almost just want to show this. That's funny. He has a story in emojis. Wait. How do we do this? How do we do this in a... Oh, right. You could just do fan funding. Smart. I've seen him do this. He's got a little story. He's got a little story in emojis. Is that a hijabbed woman, 3 fists in the air, fight, squirt, syringe, gun, water pistol. Thank you, Hake Report. And Thor mode with the generosity, back to back. All right, y'all. We'll get to all of your coffees and support. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. And your calls. Thank you. 888-775-3773. Let's keep it going here, though. Hold on. You close all this. Get situated. Okay. Amazing. Address, what are you talking about? Address the... Okay, you're just saying nonsense. Let me move on from that. Address the Glock. You got to explain yourself, LARPing, man. Amazing. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your comments. You guys are commenting about Punchy. All of you loved it. What's up, Jules? What are you saying here? I'll be curious to see. Hey, thank you for being there, Rumble. I know, what a mess. I'll be curious to see what charges he actually gets and then compare that to what others have gotten that have done something similar. Has he already been sentenced? I don't know. I think charges just came down. You are right. I can tell you have that ability. Hake doesn't have it as much, but he's still better than me. No, I don't know if you're commenting on Jules. I don't know if you're just saying like commenting on. I think Hake, James Hake. He was like, "Oh no, JLP's." I don't know. Everyone's so conspiratorial. I believe it. She was attacked. I don't know if that's what you're commenting on, but I appreciate his space with the so commonly erroneous thinking of the conspiratarded brain. Okay? I think it's at the core of it is just big assumptions stemming from another lie. Well, I was lied to about this, but that's not smart thinking. What's up, Ivana? What's up, cuz? Okay. I want to keep this going, though. Where were we? Directing Democrats. So I was telling you about, this was just this scoop from Libs of TikTok, right? The state representative, Brad Tabke, personally sending out invites to the anti-ICE watch group. So you can sign up, right? Hey, join the Zoom meeting, and I'll show you how to join the group chat. You can monitor ICE and follow them. That's not a protest. That is not a protest. And so there's a bunch of like talk of, well, they're paid protesters. Oh, it's like Alex Jones. What are you conspiratarded? Minnesota State Representative Alex Falconer, Democrat, publicly stated, Washington Times. This is Washington Times. Publicly stated. Let me pull this up. That he is helping to run a resistance network through Signal and is actively working to add more residents to the chat. It's according to Washington Times. Amanda Kohler, Koehler, Kohler, former campaign strategist for Tim Walz, identified as an administrator of the Minnesota Ice Watch Signal chat group. That's Washington Times. That's more like on the ground material. Like, there's all the other auxiliary stuff, the encouragements to sign up, and then Tim Walz just another step removed, even more generally, just telling people on the street, hey, get in their faces, protest, yeah, make your voices heard. All that auxiliary stuff, adding to it. Come on, it's organization. But this is just a Washington Times article. Democrats officials, elected Democrat officials, part of the Democratic machine over there in Minnesota, organizing a resistance network through Signal, trying to gather residents and citizens to get them on these Ice Watch groups, which coordinate, follow, and dox these agents. That's just the news. You understand? That's just Washington Times. So imagine that, right? That's where we are. It's not conspiracy. It's like, that's just the basic news. We just opening the paper here. So anyways, where were we? I'm getting major slowdown on this computer. Hold on. I'm not mad about it. Slow down, right? We could slow down a little bit. But every click is like quicksand. Like what? So what do y'all think about that? I mean, that is just the news. That is just their basic stance. No ICE. You can't deport people. You can't arrest criminals. You cannot do that. So anyways. We'll have to get into, we'll do this later here. Okay. Because maybe we find some time later to maybe even go through some of the details of all the fraud too. Just a moment, maybe, as a you need to know. You hear about it, right? You hear about, damn it, they're organizing or something. You hear about what's actually happening. I mean, I told you the news, Washington Times. Oh, what the fraud in Somalia and stuff. So every Somalian is in trouble. What's going on here? The details are interesting. But look, as this has all been going around and the commentary of, the commentary for various, even like conservatives, people who support Trump, saying, hey, you know what? ICE is going too far. It's making people angry. We got to think of a different strategy and all that. And maybe there's a new strategy with Tom Homan. I'll report on that in a moment. We'll see what happens with that. But to those that are like, well, let's have this conversation. Let's have this debate. You got to understand let me just show this to you. I mean, they don't have this in them. There's no debate. That's not what is on the table. It's not like, okay, well, you know what, you just went too far with Alex Pretti. You know, all week, all the critics really care about. It's that it was a bad shoot. You know, it was a bad shoot. That's what matters. But how naive can you be? It's not. That's not at all the. You think these people are just suddenly they suddenly understand the details of guns, the importance of the law on that. What's a good shoot, a bad shoot? You know, law enforcement, like that's BS. Let's have a conversation. You know, you just went too far. You're hearing the calls. You hear the people. They're saying, "Well, of course, I just want ICE to deal with the criminals, do their job, but not kill people, not kill people." The not kill people. What they mean is abolish them. That's what they mean. You know, I think this article said a different headline. Did this change? Hold on. Let me look at my notes. Let's look at the Wayback Machine. Oh, check it out. See, the Border Patrol is the problem. It has always been. New York Times. Okay, you understand? It's not their conversation. Their condition is the abolishment of ICE. And you're thinking they're having a reasonable conversation. It reminds me of George Floyd. Defund the cops. You know what they mean? They just don't want blacks being. No, they're saying defund the cops, and they're saying they want that. They want them out. They want them gone. And their origins are racist. Their origins were wrong. This is the same stuff. The Border Patrol was always out of control. They were always racist. I'm sure that's what this article is full of. They want the abolish. That's their. This is non-negotiable. Abolishment of ICE and endless immigration. So, tell me what you're going to argue there. Democratic governors promise accountability after Minneapolis. I mean, making all sorts of threats. So you understand, right? Like, they're committed to open borders and destroying America. Like, they hate it. So they're committed to it. They're not letting this go. And so the news, let me pull this up. So some of the news is this Tom Homan, so he's arrived to Minnesota, and we've gotten some, they call it a taste of what they're doing. I don't know. It's hard to say. Call it conspiratarded. Call it cope conspiracy. Because although I share some of the like quick reaction of, hey, I want you to be tough. These people are committed to open borders. Any deal they want to make is in concert for that goal. Is that how you say that? In concert to that goal? Is that English? And so I have no like leeway there in a sense. But yet, what was I saying there? Oh, they're the way they're reporting on this, it's like Tom Homan is coming out calling it like a drawdown. Like, we are removing, like, it's starting to sound so much like an about face that I'm like, I wonder if they mean it. Do they even mean the about face? Again, the only sober position is wait and see. Duh. But let me see. Let me give you some of the details on what this drawdown is supposed to be. And then I had some like quick thoughts on the underpinning like motivations. So Tom Homan, they're calling it a drawdown. I think he's calling it drawdown plan in Minnesota. Let me pull that all up. Okay. Let me see. This is all from Media, Daily Mail. I collected this. White House border czar Tom Homan. You're familiar with him. Where do we start? You're familiar with the situation. The protests, right? The crackdowns, and now the fight between the feds and Tim Walz and all that. Homan was dispatched by Trump to go down there to Minnesota, take charge, so to speak. And it was a little maybe unclear on the thinking because Trump definitely, he sounded like he was backing up Kristi Noem and Bovino, like, hey, they're great. This isn't a remove. They're not getting fired. It's not like they did something wrong. But, now Tom Homan is saying exactly that. He's saying, I'm not here in Minnesota because we've been perfect, right? He's saying that there's been mistakes made. And so he's out there. Some of the commentary he said on that, he's committed to stay till the problem's gone, acknowledging the operations have not been perfect. I think a lot of people agree. I think even a lot of people who think it's a bad shoot would still want ICE to operate and all that. For those who think otherwise, a bad shoot is not a reason to not deport anymore. Now we can't deport. Even if it was an accident or whatever. Or you can credibly charge the cops or worse, I don't know. That doesn't mean we don't get to have deportations. So what was he saying? And he's claiming he wants to do them safer, more efficient, by the book. We got to love safe, right? We got to love safe. I think about, for example, some of my callers, they're really criticizing ICE. They're like, hey, ICE, they're badly trained. I keep hearing this one. They're badly trained. And for all that, however as true that may be, those same people kind of have a very naive thinking. Their job is to deport illegals. The question is, what if they don't want to leave? You think out of all the people that they're trying to deport, you think maybe 1, 2, 5, 10? How many do you think are going to not want to leave and are willing to be violent or otherwise to not get deported? Tell me, what do you think in such a scenario? Do you think that you'll have 100%, even with the most perfect? This is what I was asking my caller just a couple days ago. You think you'll have a perfect success rate? You're going to just have, even with the best trained law enforcement, that you're going to have just no problems, no issues with this contingency in America that needs to be deported? I think if you think no, then you're quite naive, and you're also not serious. You're not a serious person, so stay out of the conversation. Maybe don't vote. You know what I mean? It's deportations and law. You confront that. There needs to be a real response, consequence, etc. Incredible. So that was some of my callers and all that. Where were we here? Oh, yeah, Tom Homan. We're almost done with that. Homan ordered ICE and CBP to develop a drawdown plan to reduce the number of federal immigration agents and law enforcement on the ground in Minnesota. He explicitly affirmed the drawdown is going to happen. That's his quote. And the plan is on conditional cooperation. Now, this is the key here. This is why you got to wait and see. The plan for this drawdown hinges on what is being reported a conditional cooperation. And I don't know if I've seen, maybe some news is out there now on the details of this conditional cooperation, which is what? It's Homan and Trump saying, hey, look, Minnesota, Waltz, we'll change some of our tactics. We'll do something different on our end, but you guys, we're going to do a deal here. And we got some demands. And we'll do what we're saying, what Tom Homan's out there saying, we'll do it if you agree with the demands. I haven't seen the details of this rumored conditional cooperation. There is an interesting thing with Tucker. I don't know where Tucker's been around. I'm sure he has friends. He did report on this, on what these conditions are. Maybe I'll tell you that in a sec. But yeah, that's why you got to wait and see. I mean, it's not there's the balls in a sense in Minnesota's court. So there is still like another response cycle here, so to speak. So I know Tom Homan's saying all this stuff, but there's this conditional cooperation. Key elements: increase access to county jails and prisons. Some of my callers were saying this is important. You start getting access to the county jails, right? Because you see, Minnesota is like right now super opposed. The local law enforcement is not reporting to calls for help from ICE agents. Imagine that for a moment. So you can bet that they're not allowed to use the facilities either, the jails. Now you open up those facilities, you now open up all sorts of options for these agents, for the federal agents. You know, these crowds, let's say it's 5, maybe a huge crowd, maybe not so much. But now you can like actually take like a nice sizable amount of people and just put them in a van, like you're all arrested. You can do a number of things. Them being swarmed and not having help from local law enforcement has contributed to some of this. In fact, there are local law enforcement individuals that have kind of come out and said just that they wish that they were allowed because they would have prevented the shootings, they say, some of these. So where were we here? It's one of those things, you know, it's like a strategy is definitely happening. They're dealing with the public backlash. And it might turn out better than we think. We'll see. You know, like I want more. Like because I believe Trump. I want more. I want more because I support him and I believe everything he said about the country and what needs to be done about it. So right on. Let's finish this up here really fast. Last few things on this topic. Just to add to what I was saying, those cops wanting to work so that they could, they believe they would have prevented the shootings. Anybody who knows anything knows this. Like, if you had if you bring more agents and cops, this is what they say. The Democrats and all these dummies out there, they're like, that is the violence. Their mere presence is the violence. Their mere presence is what's activating us. And the more of them, and it's like, if you agree with that, it's like, strategically, sure, but if you back down to that, then they win, right? So everybody knows that that's just not true. That's just like the tactic of the bully. And if you say, well, I guess you're right. If we just bring more of the law and order, that'll just make more of them. So we should stop. No, there's not enough. The law, you see them getting swarmed. You see them just dealing with situations where there's a bunch of people behind them and they're looking around. And it's not really safe. Imagine if they had help. There would be less violence. There would be less people dying and hurt. For those people who say they care so much about that. Oh, I know. ICE is, no, fine, arrest the criminals, but stop Americans from dying. All right, cool. Let's then say something about Tim Waltz and the local law enforcement not being allowed. Well, no, get out, ICE. You started it. Then you don't really care. Right? What a mess. So that was that with the cops. Now, you know what? I don't know what to make of this. I mean, whatever. He's obviously just got friends or something. Tucker Carlson says that he's got the scoop on the offer the Trump administration made, allegedly, to Minnesota officials that hasn't been made public yet, according to him. Okay? And I'll just read it out. I mean, you know Tucker. Right?
Understands very well that this is peril.
So, whatever. There's a few minutes there. So, this is allegedly from Tucker Carlson says local police. These are the conditions that the administration wants. Trump administration, local police have to answer 911 calls from federal agents. As of now, if an agent is in danger and requests assistance, they don't get it. Local police has to work to protect federal law enforcement from being killed when they're off duty. The jails have to tell the federal government where the PDF files and rapists are and hand them over. If officials do that, the vast majority of federal law enforcement will be pulled from Minnesota, but remain to protect federal assets. And apparently, they're saying no to that. Like the Minnesotas, they're being hard against that. So we'll see what happens with that, right? If they say no, F you, it's like, okay, well, go in strong and all that and do what you got to do. Or what will happen? But it's crazy, right? They're committed. It's like, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll bend over backwards. Fine, I guess Minnesota's yours. We'll re-strategize. What is your response, Democrats, left Minnesota, people on the street? F everything you said. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. I mean, that's just what you get. Incredible. I do want to get to your calls and all that. I see calls coming in. I see a bunch of stuff. 888-775-3773. I want to get to all of you. I think we wrapped this up here. Incredible. And I guess there's the Pretti thing, right? The new angle, but you know that already. You've been probably watching it all day. You're probably maybe, but for those who haven't seen any of it or all that, maybe we'll do that later. That Alex Pretti, right? They were saying he's such a nice guy. That he should date my daughter. This fat Latina woman said. And you know what? Shout out, fat, overweight. Like it's like that's just the outside, right? But your outside is like your inside, Anna Navarro. And in fact, it's probably because your inside's that way that your outside's that way. You don't care. You died a long time ago, right? It's like I'm just fat. She's like, this guy should have dated. This is the kind of guy you want dating your daughter. Just an upstanding individual. And they got footage of him kicking taillights, like acting like an absolute psycho. So imagine that, huh? We'll get to all that. Let's see here. I want to get to, is that Olav, Norway? How you doing, Norway? Shout out around the world. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you. I think I spoke with you a couple weeks ago around Christmas.
I think so, man. Shout out. How you doing?
Yeah. Listen, it's funny because around that time I was working on a project, and I was drinking a lot of coffee. And that night I had like a late night coffee. I went to Burger King, got a coffee for about $1 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And after that, it was just like talking to you or whatever. Just that alone just kind of made me like think maybe I should just like quit the whole thing. And I've had a coffee since. But listen, regardless of that, I actually wanted to ask you about a very specific thing because I heard you mention Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
And I wanted to know, do you know who Tommy Robinson is?
I'm familiar with that name. Tommy Robinson. He has gained like infamy over the years talking about Islam over there in the UK. Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's written books on Islam and blah, 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 too. But what's funny about Tucker Carlson is that he actually had an exclusive interview with Tommy Robinson when he came out of jail back in 2019. And what's funny is that I don't know where the video was now, but it had about like 2-3 million views on YouTube. And you know that interview that Tucker Carlson had with Piers Morgan, where Piers Morgan basically said what did he say? He said something like, I'll trade some people for a kebab or something like that.
And who said the kebab? Who said that? Oh, Piers Morgan.
Sorry, Piers Morgan. Yeah. I think it was a curry. Yeah, I'll happily trade some, people I don't like for a curry or something like that. Yeah. But listen, in that very same interview, Tucker Carlson actually denied he'd ever met Tommy Robinson.
Really?
And yeah, he actually denied it flat out. So I just wanted you to know, if you have time, do some research on it, and I think you'll find that Tucker Carlson is a bit more, it's very, at least it seems like it's almost like he's a bit snaky, a bit slimy. I'm not completely sure, but it seems like he's really he kind of lied about, he's kind of threw Tommy under the bus, you know what I mean?
Interesting, man. I think I heard some rumblings about that. I don't think much about Tucker, but I did see, I'm only saying, too, because, it's one of those things where, I think I may have seen him do that myself. That I was able to just see that myself, right? No one told. And I think, and I might have a good example. I think maybe he wasn't being mean, but look, I had Nick Fuentes on. It was a good interview. It was not a big deal. It was totally fine. There were just two men talking. It was fine. I don't know if you saw that, but afterwards I saw Tucker going around talking pretty nasty about Nick sometimes. Just to add to the snaky thing. You were saying he's kind of snaky. I may have seen that myself.
Yeah.
Nothing. And all things he could have said to him to his face, but he's just he had him on the show, and then he goes off and kind of just talks about him to other people.
But the reason why I thought it was important was because if this wasn't any interview, because he said it in a very he threw it under the bus to Piers Morgan's face. Why would it matter for him to make such an impression about how he doesn't know him to Piers Morgan? They're not close friends or whatever from what I know. It's Piers Morgan we're talking about.
Right.
He's just a vanity guy, right? So it was just weird. And it's also, it proved itself based on the fact that it also was the interview where Piers Morgan literally said, joked about, I'll fucking trade some people for a kebab or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But listen, I just thought it was super.
Real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you? I don't know if I did. I don't know if you did.
I don't know.
But what was I saying there? What was I gonna say to you? Oh yeah. Are you thinking? Do you have? Because you're saying, why would he do it? Do you have some rationale in your mind over it, why you would think he's doing it?
Tommy totally thinks that he's paid by guitar. I don't know about that, but I did think it was a bit it seems a bit I wouldn't, it's a bit I'm not, let's put it like this, I'm not a fan of Tucker anymore after that. You can disagree with people, but that's a bit
Is it because you really support Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess.
I'm not a huge supporter or anything like that, but I think he makes some good points about Islam. Yeah.
I see. What was I going to ask you? I forget, sir. But okay, yeah, no, I may have seen some of the sneakiness you're talking about. Don't know what it quite means, but.
Oh, sorry, no, but I just wanted to cap in because like it might be like there's a lot of stuff going on in the US, right?
Yes.
So maybe you guys don't know about everything that's happening, but I just wanted to chip in because it might be interesting to know.
Yeah, no, I've heard something. There's something significant. There's some sort of significance here with Tucker's behavior, but I got you, man. Anything else you want to speak on here? Are you originally from Norway?
Well, it's just. I'll tell you, listen, I actually took one of them DNA tests like you.
Oh
yeah, and it's a bit like it's a bit blurry. It's like I'm Norwegian, but with like sort of kind of British Isles, a thing, something like that going on. I'm not completely sure, but but my accent, I actually adopted my accent from like kind of an American English to more of the British English. I think it started
So
back
you initially had like a more American sounding English accent?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah. No, mate, I was just bored at one of my studies, and I used to watch like a British reality TV series, and from there it just kind of came along. But
you're born and raised Norway.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. And speaking English growing up?
No.
Oh, interesting. So watching TV and learning English, you got this accent. But it's also in you, DNA-wise.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Listen. We in Norway we used to have an MTV type of channel where there were music videos from the United States on all the time. So I would see the latest. It lasted until 2012, I think, and it was R&B, hip hop, pop, electronic music, party music, all sorts of stuff 24/7. And when I was a kid, I would sort of grow up with that. And also, my aunt and uncle are from Canada, and mine was it? What was that? Is it niece? It's called their daughter. Is that my niece?
The daughter of your
my uncle.
Of your uncle? That would be your cousin.
My cousin, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Because your niece, I think, would be the daughter of like your sibling. I mean, sorry, what? What am I talking about? Yeah,
no, I just forgot. But listen, I just wanted to chip in. But listen, I won't keep you busy for too long.
Can I ask you one? Yeah, go ahead, make your statement. I do want to ask you one thing before you leave, but go ahead.
Yep. No, you can just. You can just ask me.
Can you speak Norwegian?
Yeah.
How do you say in Norwegian?
Well, there's standard Norwegian and there's my accent. So in standard Norwegian, well, sorry, what do you want me to say?
I want to know how to ask. How do you say in Norwegian?
Hvordan sier du?
Say that again.
Hvordan sier du?
Hvordan sier du?
Yeah.
So if I say hvordan sier du phone, what would you?
It's telephone.
Telephone. So
telephone.
now I can ask how any other word is in Norwegian.
Yeah.
Say that one more time for me. Say that one more time for me.
Hvordan sier du telefon?
Hvordan sier du? That's cool, man. Hey, appreciate that, Olav. Can you call me again?
Yeah, sure. And just continue the stuff you do, and just just take care of the younger ones, Kurt and Derek, and
absolutely
make sure they get their vitamins and
they will grow big and strong. I'll make sure of it.
All right, I'll see you.
Nice, man. Thank you, Olav. Call me again.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Bye.
Amazing. Norwegian. That's cool. I think that's like a category. What category language is Norwegian? I think it's closer to, might be It might be one, like easy. North Germanic. North Germanic. Yep, a Category 1 language, according to the U.S. Department of State's Foreign Service Institute. That makes it the easiest category for native English speakers. Category 1 languages, like Spanish, Italian, German, French. These are all languages, if you're an English speaker, fluent English speaker, that you'd find the easiest to learn. I think they say 4 months if you're serious about it. Dutch, Portuguese, Romanian, Spanish, and Swedish. Cool. Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. That's category 4. That's as hard as it gets, according to the States, to the United States. Holland. So are these the Vikings? Wait, one more time. English to Norwegian. One more time. How do you say? How do you say? How do you say? In Norwegian.
Hvordan sier du?
Hvordan sier du? Sick. Okay, what else? He mentioned ancestry. Let's move on. 888-775-3773. Amazing. Where were we? Where were we? Probably gonna swear. I mean, if you haven't seen it, the guy was full of problems and cruising for a bruising. Already committed to death, so to speak. This is the actions of someone just itching to forfeit their life through their own short-sighted, angry actions. Look at you. You pepper sprayed him. How dare you? I mean, they believe they're fighting fascism. And, you know, the only shame is he wasn't even arrested there and thrown under the jail. But I don't feel bad about it. He's gone now. Ain't no use in crying for him no more, as they say.
Did was, and with Renee Good.
Ain't no use in crying for them no more.
What they did was, and with Renee Good, what they did is they hit at the best of us doing activities that are at the core of what it means to be American. What they did was, and with Renee Good, what they did is they hit.
We got the side-by-side footage here.
At the best of us doing activities that are.
You know what? We didn't get to see this on JLP show. I don't know if CBS left that out. This is the money shot, CBS. He kicked out the light. I'm not going to blame Derek for that one. That's CBS.
What they did was, and with Renee Good, what they did was
kicks that light out. You know what I was seeing? I think it's on this post. Where is it? There was people saying, okay, I ran it through AI. AI believes that there are very suspicious pixels around the light area. There was people denying. They were like believing that Alex Pretti was out there, but they were denying that he kicked off the light, the tail light, that the tail light was AI. What a weird thing to say, right? Like, people are lost. There was a reason why not everybody was just allowed to vote. Oh, voting is just a human right. Everybody can vote. There was a reason for that, okay? The founding fathers and all that. There was a reason for that. Even back then when people were, I heard how your average American, I was reading about it. There was some like foreign statesman who came to America. He was just amazed. He's like, your average American, just a worker farmer knows, is deeply civically minded, like understands how it works. even then the founding fathers were like, yeah, but we can't let everybody vote. Like that, you know how stupid people are?
Good. What they did is they hit at the best of us.
The best of us.
Doing activities that are at the core of what it means to be American.
Please, please. That was not America out there. Incredible. What a jerk called for. Oh, man. So anyways, it's pretty much what's been happening. Can we switch gears, I guess, a little? Shall we just run through some of these things? You know, I'm missing like half the viewership. I'm missing like a little bit more than half the viewership. Anyways, no biggie. The glitches may have been my fault. Shall we watch some of this? I meant to show this to you guys yesterday. Now, I forget a little bit, but I know that the clip, if I remember, it's full of interesting little tidbits, information, details of a terrible situation, one I do not condone, a truly terrible situation. You know, how much more terrible does it get than a disobedient wife? Well, he shot her. He shot her in the head and the parents. That's pretty bad. In fact, I think we could say with certainty and confidence that is a pretty bad thing. Okay. But you know, this news report, I feel like if I remember, it added so much color. And then there were like the experts commenting about it. So, married man shoots wife and in-laws dead. He just couldn't take it no more. He tried telling him, he's like, my wife moved it. I don't get along with her parents, and then all of a sudden she moves them in on me, and I said no. And then he just lost his temper. Okay, let's watch.
I shot my wife and her mom and her stepdad.
Well, that's about as straightforward as it gets.
That's for sure.
Clearly, there's a sense of pride in his voice. There's a sense of empowerment. He's not broken down about it. He's not emotional about it. The truth may be that there are likely more emotional issues going on here that he may not be even aware of.
You think? The big expert. Don't worry about that. I agree, James. My messing up of the stream is kind of the same thing, right? Messing up the redirect. Oh, what was it? What is it? Look, so we got the first expert. I'm going to be stopping this video. We got the first expert. He's like, you could see, what did he even say?
He's
there?
not. Clearly, there's a sense of pride.
Clearly, there's a sense of pride. I mean, it's just like, what's it called? Like just low. Some of you are agreeing. You're like, how do you know? It's just low level kind of like reacting to him and what you think. I don't know. I've seen a lot of film. I watch a lot of film about like interrogations. I've watched a bunch of these for some reason. And sometimes you get an individual that's just kind of matter of fact because, and they're like, and they say like, hey, they describe what they do. And they say, they at least verbally say, well, I lost my temper. I shouldn't have done that. And I did kill them. In just like a matter of fact way, like it happens.
Clearly, there's a sense of pride in his voice. There's a sense of empowerment. He's not broken down about it.
I get more of like a matter of fact white. Why am I bringing race into it? But think about it. Just like this matter of fact, no fanfare about it. I respect the game. I'm not trying to get out of it. I did what I did. You know, I'm not trying to call a murderer respectable. Like, I'm just saying,
He's not
I get that. That's my impression, Mr. Expert. I don't know. We're both people here. You got to...
emotional about it. The truth may be that there are likely more emotional issues going on here.
And that one's like, duh. They love to say this. They ping pong back and forth. You know, they're emotionless psychopaths. He's there with pride and no emotion. You know, but he's probably hiding emotion within. Duh.
That he may not be even aware of. That I think the course of this interview may give us some hint as to...
He might be feeling a lot inside. He killed... Yeah, he tells you that, in fact. He's like, I lost my temper and killed them. I shot them in the face and I killed them. He was in my chair.
What lies under this very almost Teflon-like exterior?
Bro.
I'll go ahead and ask you, I mean, why'd you do that, Jesse?
I lost my temper.
Sure, okay.
Wife had...
There it is, right? I mean... He's full of pride. He's like, no, he lost his temper. You know, that particular moment, too, is funny to me. And the whole, like, matter-of-factness of it. Because the public response is so predictable to this. And you see it in the experts. You'll see it more. It's like, his reaction is weird. He's different. He's different than people. Like, people cry. People get emotion. This killers, this is how they act. But really, he said it right there. He let his temper let his temper go. Right? Tell me, when did your temper? When did you lose your temper? Last week? Yesterday? You felt the exact same thing. I'm telling you right now.
Sure. Okay.
You simply lost your temper. This man, I'll tell you right now. And I say merely, you know, kind of trying to paint a picture. But it's like, it's all of it. That in the losing of your temper, you're given unto the devil, unto your anger. Anything can happen. But that's what he merely did. The same thing you merely did yesterday. You merely lost your temper.
Wife had back surgery last week, Friday.
Okay, and so before we go any further, just so I have all my details crystal clear, what was your wife's name?
Tanya.
Okay.
That's certain.
So then there was, you said 2 more people that were involved. What was the next person's name?
Linda, and I don't know how they spell their last name.
Okay.
What are we gathering from Linda? What are we judging just from looks? No, let's not do that. We're Christians.
You know what it is, though? And if you don't know, that's fine. What's that?
I don't know.
No,
that's fine. Tell you.
What was his name?
Ron.
Okay.
Ron.
And just so I'm clear on that, Linda and Ron were Tanya's parents.
That's
correct. Your
in-laws. That was Tanya's biological mother and her stepfather.
One thing
music, like,
you notice?
Wow. He's just like answering questions matter-of-factly. Wow.
When he's describing the murder is how impersonal it is. He rarely uses their names. He often refers to them as him or her, even when he's talking about his wife. The victims of Jesse Huey were Tanya, which is his wife, and her parents.
Say her name.
Linda,
that's what she's doing.
And Ron Kaler. It's shocking that he doesn't even know his in-law's last name. The fact that he has been married for 6 years and has no idea who these people are, and yet is so irritated, seemingly, by them that he decides to kill them.
Wow. He doesn't even know them. You should just understand them. This guy's such a psycho. You got irritated. This doctor got irritated on the road just the other day. Just yesterday. Driving. Someone cut her off. It's like, no, this guy's special, man. He doesn't even know them, and he's like mad at them? He doesn't even know them? Do you know the details of the story? Woman, she's probably thinking, all she did was bring in the parents. That's her parents. She loves them, and that's her house, too. Like,
has no idea who these people are, and yet is so irritated, seemingly, by them that he decides to kill them.
Her mom and Ron live in a RV. They decided that they were coming to Missouri to support Tanya.
Sure.
In her recovery.
Oh, Lord.
I don't get along with her mom. Hadn't been like outward friction there, but I stayed away from them. Don't want them in my life. I don't want to be in their life, you know.
Right.
And so what ended
Interesting, he had problems with the mother, huh?
up happening.
So busybody mother-in-law. A story for anybody that knows anything, some experience, or just knows anything. That is an abomination, a relationship.
And so,
that woman was a wedge.
So what ended up
right now
happening is her mom moved in on me. Now, bearing in mind, that's my place, and I'm the one that pays the bill on it. So I felt pretty disrespected.
Because it sounds like they would just show up and invite themselves.
Well, see, when Tanya and I got together years ago, her mom and Ron pulled this before, where they just show up, kind of unannounced and stay.
That's a thing. That happens in like every marriage. And the in-laws, one day they just show up more. Now they're there. Oh, Sundays, the weekends. I just have to take care of the kids, watch the kids while we do this. And then more and more. Now they're like in your life. And those are people like only a like bully type of fake concerned person wants to be involved in your life. You have your own life. Okay? And a man knows this, right? A man kind of knows this, so when he starts encroaching, even if they can't like quite articulate it, like, well, but what is actually wrong with this woman being here? It's that you have your own lives. Okay? You can't be entangled like this. And I see this in every marriage. And if you it's like that is like a territory thing. And the woman knows this. The mother-in-law knows this. They're like, well, people know this, to be honest. Like, you just know if you can get away with this, then you push it further, and that's just how life is. And that's why you got to, like, say it. And so it sounds like years ago he said it. He's like, this is my house. This is my family. This is my house. And what a mess, huh?
Yeah. That's no social grace there at all. You understand what I'm saying?
And so did that surgery that she had, I imagine, being a back surgery, that it probably laid her out, she probably couldn't walk, or is that not the case?
She, at the very first, she was walking. Over the course of the week, I'm watching my wife improve, where she's able to get up and walk around, and, Linda wasn't making there was no indication they were going to leave at all.
It's so ironic that Jesse Huey is saying, the mother had no social graces, as if he's in any position to be discussing social graces when he just murdered them.
Social grace. He's talking about before the shooting, okay, woman? He meant before, okay? And then the shooting happened, and he's like, well, I lost my temper. I'm going to jail. Okay? Nothing, that is an extreme response and very rare. I don't know about how rare, but look, right? A lot of people viewing not necessarily what you do, but what's not rare is what he was feeling about it. That's not rare at all. If you feel those things, you're on the very same path. So that's the point there. And also kind of like the other side too, the other kind of point too, which is like, how do we put it? Like the woman's part to play here. It's like, whoa, that's a crazy statement. How can you blame the woman at all here? I mean, this guy lost his temper, shot them. Absolutely wrong. But you know how like when devils fight, and even if something terrible happens that shouldn't, you don't like you're not mad about it, protest about it, change the laws about it or anything, because you knew that was going to happen. Right? You understand what I'm saying? They're like, when you choose to just like so disrespectful, define in the home, and you're like, I'm going to be an endless conflict. Because she didn't have to be that way. That wife wanted to be that way, to be in conflict with the husband. And then when the conflict turns into worse and worse things, you had a part to play in that. That's like the disobedience of the woman. This is an extreme example, But I swear, every marriage I know, at some point they've had to deal with the mother-in-law showing up, and you got to kick her out. Terrible stuff. Look, whatever. That guy should be in jail and all that. Death penalty. I don't know. Where were we? The disobedient wife. I just know this one was controversial with the people. They're like, what's up with Bond? You guys really are misogynists. And the details were, we had to know. We had to know the details. Okay? We just had to know. This is the kind of case the electric chair was made for. Maybe even far less, right? Just like killing. There's so much killing. Was capital punishment like if you killed someone, and I'm talking about murder, was capital punishment just like always the response to that, and that changed? I wonder about that in America. Was that like actually the more average response to murder? Maybe in the medieval world, according to the chat GPTs. In the medieval world. That's because that's not even in the thinking. You just shouldn't die. Like, that shouldn't even exist. Capital punishment, right? Executing someone. That shouldn't even exist. That's not even in the thinking. I'm thinking, I wonder if it should be on the table for every single murder. You murder, you should be removed. I don't know. Am I thinking about that wrong? Was that not even how capital punishment was? Is that my own idea of it? It should be on the table for every murder. Let's keep it moving here. We're just doing some random things here. Oh, man, which one should we do? Because I saw this thing.
He was brilliant, scholastic.
With Robin Williams. Okay, let's see if this fits. Because I barely saw it. I haven't like even formed what I'm thinking here. But we've been watching Jesse for a bit here. We forgave our own mothers. Some of us. We see that like spiritual influence. She made you feel for her. She made you even subtly, even a very decent, outwardly just decent mother. They're not all mean and beating you, or I don't have to forgive my mom because she beat me or something like that, or a drug addict. So many of us have forgiven our mothers, have seen that spiritual influence where she ingratiated you to her, turned you away from your father, and you ended up being just like her. This like inner carbon copy. That's not normal. That's not normal, especially for men. So we can speak on this topic a bit, like we did some of that work. So I mean, I don't know if I have the entirely formed exactly, but you got to watch this Robin Williams clip with me. This is an individual who committed suicide. You know him, a comedian, right? You knew him in some amazing movies. You're like, wow, this guy's full of joy and laughter. How could he kill himself? Just randomly popped up on my feed. It's him and his mother. It's him and his mother. And I mean, whatever. It's like, it's his mom. It's a cute moment. They're talking about their things they shared growing up. You have a little view into the Williams family, so to speak. But I think we get a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. Tell me if you guys see what I see. I think we get a little bit more than just that. Than just, the cute things we used to laugh at, right, Mom?
He was brilliant scholastically.
But that wasn't very funny.
But not very funny. Very serious.
Mother was funny then.
They look the same, huh? Hold on. So she's saying, I don't know why they were doing this, but that's they're talking out there to some cameras. He was brilliant scholastically. but not very funny.
He was brilliant scholastically.
But it wasn't very funny.
But not very funny. Very serious.
Mother was funny then. She also had a wonderful sight gag we can't do here where she cuts a rubber band in half and goes... That was...
Yeah, that's delightful.
Yeah, that's the one that drives my father like, that's it, thank you, I'm leaving. I'm not telling you where I'm going. Oh, Mom, you're going to do this. Oh, no.
Everyone's like, the captions are like, the way Robin Williams' mom makes him belly laugh. Oh, the laughter of a child. I don't know why I'm cringing, man. I don't know. It's supposed to be just mom and stuff. Like, well, why do you hate everything, Nick? I don't know. I'm just the laughter of a child, belly laugh like a child. You're supposed to be a man. And so, did you get already a little bit? Father never liked mother's jokes.
That's it, thank you, I'm leaving.
That's the one thing that drove my father crazy. Like, oh, I'm gonna leave.
Oh, Mom, you're gonna do this.
Right? Did you catch that a little bit? This continues.
Oh, no.
It's not that funny.
You know,
it's not that funny.
Embarrass your dad. I did for years.
Yeah, that and
that. Sorry, I talked over it. She's now talking about embarrassing the dad here, right? Kind of. We got a little bit from Robin Williams. She's like, yeah, I mean, I always embarrassed your dad. For years, I embarrassed your dad. Hold on.
You're gonna do this.
Okay, geez, one more time, the laughter. All right, here we go.
You know, we embarrass your dad. I did for years.
Yeah, that and that.
And
me making this noise at dinner.
Yeah.
He didn't like that.
No.
Either, no. And, you know,
he doesn't take lightly
and
to
the whoopee cushions that used to.
He was brilliant.
Whoopee cushions, and sound at the dinner table. I used to embarrass your dad for years, and then the son joined in.
He was brilliant.
At some point, I mean, it sounded like he was more serious earlier, right? Like scholastically smart, but mother was funny. And then at some point, Robin Williams has joined in. He became just like his mother, and now they're both embarrassing the dad. It sounded like it was contentious, like it was something that maybe rubbed him the wrong way, maybe even worse. Maybe it was silly, but maybe it was worse. The father and the mother didn't quite get along. Did they get divorced or something? What happened to the Williams family? Did they divorce? Did she embarrass him to the point of divorce? Yes, Robin Williams' parents did divorce. His father, Robert Fitzgerald Williams, a senior executive at Ford, and his mother, Lori McLaurin. So she kept her last name, a former model. So it's Robin Williams, and this is Lori McLaurin. Your name is Lori Williams. All you see in the signs, folks. You see in the signs, it's like always the same carbon copy. You think your problems are unique. It's the same. The spirit is the same. You gotta forgive your mother. You gotta forgive your parents. And then that spirit, unless you're like aware, the spirit is always against the man, hates the man, wants to corrupt the boy, against the father. And it's like, this is not a unique situation. Robin Williams, his story. I mean, it's no, call it a stretch, but I see it all. I see it from here to his suicide. This video to his suicide, right? Turned away from his father, never knew what was wrong with him. Never found out why he held on to this depression. Never ended up figuring it out. And yet here is like a little video of them kind of expressing what Jesse's been expressing.
Yeah, that's one.
Being turned away from the father, becoming just like the mother. Under her, it's not normal, especially for a man. No man like that has ever felt right inside. And I know life is not about feelings and stuff, but all the guys know what I'm talking about here. Especially ones who were seeking and want to work on themselves. They found Jesse, etc. No guy in that situation that I just described, even if they don't know exactly what happened to them, has ever been right inside. And just endlessly with a hole in the heart, okay? And he ended up killing himself, right? So, and she's telling you, right? I used to embarrass him for years, and he joined in, kind of became like her. I wonder if Robin Williams and his father had issues. I'll tell you right now, this video right here gave us a little window into why if Robin Williams had issues with his father, I mean, here it is. So a little kind of, I like stuff like that. You know, I've been listening to it for years, and I know anger, their parents, all these things we talk about. It's lit me up inside, and I knew it was the truth, and it's cool to just kind of see it out in the world, right? Just kind of see the examples of what's the word? The proof, so to speak, of what Jesse's been saying.
One that drives my father like, that's it, thank you, I'm leaving. I'm not
That's the thing, I'm leaving.
Oh my,
The way he mocks his father there, right?
No.
All right, that's enough. That 4 times?
You know, we embarrass your dad. I did for years.
Yeah, that and
And
me
I-
making this noise at dinner.
Yeah.
He didn't like that
No.
either, no. And that, you know,
He doesn't take lightly
and
to
the
our-
whoopee cushions that used to...
She turned you from your father, Robin Williams. She turned you from your dad. What the? And she just acting all sweet. She's just the sweetest. You feel me? Anthony, SoCal, how you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me okay?
Coming in clear.
Sweet. You know, I got back in the States.
On those,
so
I was about to
able-
say, we're hearing you on those American Airways, or what's it called?
Yeah, the
Whatever
Latin
waves you're
American. Yeah. Wait, sorry, I want to make sure. Oh. Can you hear me okay? Can you still hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I don't know why I hear an echo. I'm trying to figure that out, but whatever. I want to say you had tons of awesome callers recently. I didn't follow up on. You had this history student who called in. That was pretty cool. I think he called in on MLK Day. Do you remember that guy?
I do a little.
Yeah, that was cool. And you also had I think it was Roscoe. I think he's a vet out of Germany, and
Yes.
Retired in Germany. And then you had Chris after that. Yeah, dude, I thought those were great calls. Super informative, really cool. I hope those guys call in more often.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. And I appreciate Mark responding back to what I said. I would have called in sooner, but I think I just couldn't call in for some reason. Anyways, yeah, so I just want to follow back up on that. Mark's idea was that the Islamic conflict in the West has increased since 1948, or the establishment of Israel. And one thing I wanted to clear up initially before I respond is, let me think. I agree that there's definitely the reality is Islam and any Israeli state is, or Western in that sense, isn't going to get along well. Obviously, there's been a history of Islamic conquest in the West since the inception of Islam. And one thing, what I wanted to underline first is that how do I articulate this? The idea that Israel provokes Islamic jihad, I feel like that, even though that is true, I don't like that framing, because it makes Islam seem like this force that is just responding to like whatever Israeli colonialism or Western colonialism, and it kind of takes away the real threat of Islam in itself. It makes it almost seem like it's kind of just reacting to circumstances instead of doing what it's meant to do, or it was designed or created to do. Does that make sense, or did that come across a little scattered?
I know. I think I'm gathering. Yeah, it's just essentially saying. I mean, it takes away. It just takes away far too much from Islam, as if they're just like tulips, like totally. What's the word? Like blameless tulips, right, or whatever.
Right.
And that's just not fair. So you're saying that's not a fair characterization.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was trying to articulate. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So where do I start? In Islam, there's so like we said, there's been clear. Even I'll just say before 1948, there was a good amount of terrorism in the 20s, 30s, riots due to Zionism, of course, and like British mandates in that area. Another thing I want to underline is that the idea that that piece of land belongs to Islam, of course, if they take it by force, it's theirs. But I just want to make it clear that the only reason Muslims have any, their only reason to have any designated land in that area of the Middle East is because their prophet had a vision, or they think he actually, it's called the Night Journey in Islamic scholasticism, where he rode a flying donkey to a mosque in Jerusalem that didn't even exist yet, and Masjid al-Aqsa. And because of that's where the Temple Mount is, right? So because of that, Jerusalem is theirs. Okay, so just because their prophet rode on a flying donkey in a vision or in a dream and landed in Jerusalem, which had a mosque there, which did not exist at that time, they have claims to that land. So that's, totally just, I don't think anyone should entertain that, At the same time, if they take it by force, they take it by force. War is war. Right. I'm not sympathizing with Israel. I do sympathize with Israel when they're, fighting terrorist organizations.
Totally.
But anyways, so to answer Mark's question, there's been violence pre-48, but one thing I want to interject in our discussion is that within all across the four schools of jurisprudence in Islam, so that's Maliki, Hanbali, Shafi'i, and Ashari. Out of all those schools, they have the same principle when it comes to interacting with foreign nations. One is Dor al-Harb and Dor al-Islam. So what that means is, and you could look it up, you could probably Google like House of Peace and House of War. So what these laws dictate is that Muslims will behave differently when they have power or majority, and they will act in a different way when they are in a minority or don't have, the tools to gain power. So using this framework, you could view the attacks as me and Mark were discussing, the Islamic jihad or terrorism in the West through that lens, and it makes a lot more sense. So while there has been more of a attack in the West post 48, you could also argue that there's been more of an attack in the West post 78 or 79, post the revolution, when
became the Islamic Caliphate.
Yeah, exactly. When there was when
the Shah.
When I forgot his name. Yeah, Mogadishu. When Mogadishu was taken out of power, and Khomeini was installed. So that's an Islamic state, an Islamic caliphate. Mind you, the Islamic Brotherhood was still had activity pre-48. So the Islamic Brotherhood was still around before the establishment of Israel. Now, once again, I'm not trying to defend Israel in any way. I'm not like sympathize or trying to take blame away from that. Churchill, whether we like him or not, he said Islam to man is like rabies to a dog. And I think he was right about that, because wherever you take them, they will be problematic. And that's just because it's in their doctrine. It's part of their religion. That's why, when we talked before, it's, like you mentioned, you see it more as like a political tool or a political ideology. Was that correct, or was
I've
that
heard it
someone else?
described like that, and I thought it was an apt description. When you see how it takes place, how it forms and takes root in countries like Iran, it's got a particular flavor, right? It's almost like a socialist government taking over. So I did agree with that characterization. I think I heard it from Bill Lockwood.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. It is pretty apt. Yeah, and I mean the idea of the United States' relationship with Israel is kind of a whole different idea. But my point in responding to Mark was that we shouldn't really dumb down Islam or give it less credit than what's due to it. And another thing is, do you have any thoughts on that? I want to switch briefly to
Okay. And you know what? I do have some, because look, I just don't look. Your point is taken. You're giving evidence in your opinion about how there's a more inherently, it's almost like in a vacuum. If there was no Israel, this would still be an issue. Islam, okay, and so point taken and all that. How do I put this? Like all I really was thinking about was kind of my own mental model of that conflict over there, and how I kind of parse out the criticisms of Israel, of Islam, and between and America and all that. In my mind, it's like there can be like a criticism of like Israel and the government and America. Those are like criticisms, like I guess more. They're just closer to reality because it's like happening now. But whenever the conversation, and it's hard to sometimes parse out, but if you listen to people, you'll find out in their core, what are they aligning with? Is there criticism because they're just like have like an America thing? They're just like aligned with America, or are they just repeating this BS that comes from like the Islamic world, which is like they're still stuck on Nakba, and they're still stuck on Israel even existing and being there. And that's such a silly thing, because I don't think you need to even get into prophecy and who actually has the land and which Bible is right, and put it like this, in a way more practical, materially significant way. The Islamic world is whining about something that's done. And you understand what I'm saying here? Like, they had the wars over it. Like, they proved it. Now it's time to be serious. And it's like, okay, do we do an ally here? Or we become allies? Saudi Arabia, they're all being creative, right?
Right.
But anybody in the Islamic world, and then by extension in the West, that is going around thinking like, well, they shouldn't even be there. Their creation, their being there is the cause of conflict. And then by extension, some of the arguments kind of start coming in here where they start saying, and that's why the U.S. has issues with Islam. You know what? I can't even get behind any of that. They had the wars. They had huge wars, right? Like a bunch of countries went on them, and it's done. People died. It's done. Like, so no, I if I sniff that out, I don't even get in that conversation, because it's like, you're not a serious person. Nakba, Israel even being there is what caused the issues. Well, it's over. Grow up. And it's just not even, it does not make any sense. That's my mental model of that whole thing. But sir, I must run. This studio is going to be in use for something else, and I have to vacate.
Gotcha, man. No. Can I shout out? Can I shout out Olav? Like just 1 minute, Nick.
You said shout out Allah. Go ahead.
Oh no, Olav was that?
Olav. I thought you said Allah.
Hell no, bro. Who do you think
I mean, I'm like, a part of me's like, I guess Allah just means God. I mean, I guess Allah means God, right? I mean, go ahead, Anthony.
No. Allah isn't the God of the Bible. But anyways, just because it has the same translation, it means God doesn't mean it's the same God. That's a word concept fallacy. But Olav made a really good point about Tucker and the America Fest. I don't usually watch that, but Tucker went on a tirade, a pro-Islamic tirade, and I think Olav is totally correct in saying that something really is fishy about that guy. I used to like him, but recently he's totally, Charlie Kirk actually, but before he passed, he wanted to establish a college campus organization combating and kind of doing apologetics against Islam. And while on stage, Tucker's saying all this BS about why it's so un-American to be against Islam. And he basically called Charlie indirectly like an idiot for wanting to establish on-campus organizations to combat the spread of Islam on college campuses. So shout out Olav, man. You're totally right. I wish Robinson the best of luck in what he's doing. I don't know much about him, but I've heard about him. And it's definitely someone's got to stand up in Europe. Anyways, that's all I have to say.
Gotcha. Anthony, appreciate your call. Call me again.
Thanks, sir. Likewise. Bye-bye.
For sure. All right, folks. I got to go. Take care. Open Line Friday, tomorrow, Friday. JLP show. More Hake Report. And, of course, American Anchor Baby. After the Fallen State. For now, take care. Let me see here. Let's just do this real quick. Hey, Lori, thank you for another coffee. He says, hey there, Nick. I like to watch interrogation interviews, and they always try to make the suspect into some sort of enigma. I'm like, this is every human being on the planet with anger. Lori gets it. Amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for the support. Ergo Lunas, man, thank you for that. Very supportive. The generosity. Thank you, Thor Mode. Amazing. And, of course, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. All my amazing supporters. Take care for now. See you tomorrow. More American Anchor Baby. Bye. Oh, Lil Nick 2's got to say bye-bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.